I was still trying to fix a memory leak in the task manager view when Ellie said she couldn't do this anymore. Her voice came from the hallway, but I didn't turn. Just typed another semicolon and squinted at the console. She stood there in her coat, one hand on the doorframe, the other holding a canvas bag she'd had since college. She said my eyes weren't even on her anymore. Not for months. Not since the first investor walked away and I started living on caffeine and nervous breakdowns. She waited. I think I'm going to get up, but I was afraid if I did, the whole product would unravel in my absence. If I missed this sprint, this bug fix, this funding email, it might all collapse. I think I told myself I'd make it up to her when it was done. When I launched. When we had something. But she didn't wait. The door didn't slam. She didn't cry. There was no dramatic goodbye. Just a quiet click behind her that felt louder than anything she'd ever shouted at me. After she left, I didn't move. Just stared at the screen while a tiny blinking cursor kept reminding me I still hadn't finished the feature. That night I fell asleep at the keyboard. When I woke up, her side of the closet was half empty. She took the leather jacket I loved on her, the mug with the chip in it, the little fern plant she used to talk to when she was bored. She left the teapot I bought her for her birthday, and the framed print of that rainy alley in Kaudo we both wanted to visit but never did. I sat in the kitchen eating cold noodles for breakfast while her absence spread like smoke into every room. The next few months bled into each other. Lucas kept telling me we were close. The beta users loved the UI. One VC was sniffing around again, but none of it registered. All I could think about was how she used to sit cross-legged on the floor, sketching on her iPad while I muttered to myself at the whiteboard. How she always waited until I got up to stretch before sliding a bowl of food under my nose. Not saying anything, just gently nudging my ankle with her foot so I remembered I wasn't alone. She wasn't loud. She didn't demand space. She just filled it with quiet reminders that someone was in my corner. Until she wasn't. We hit traction 7 months after she left. Lucas brought champagne to the office and sprayed it all over the recycled carpet. I laughed, kind of. We signed the term sheet. I slept for 12 hours straight, then I got up and went back to work. When the acquisition offer came, I stared at the email for a full hour without moving. Lucas came into the office, read the number, and let out a slow whistle. 28 million, he said. For something we made in a room with no windows and a broken chair. I nodded. He was grinning like we'd just robbed a casino. But all I could think about was the day Ellie said, I can't feel myself in this anymore. And I hadn't even looked up. A week after the deal closed, I posted the announcement. Polished. Professional. We're proud to share. Excited for what's next, the likes poured in. The DMs followed, and then came hers. Hey, just saw the news. We should catch up sometime. I didn't reply. Not the day after. But something in me started replaying her voice, her walk. Her eyes on me in the mirror when I used to wonder out loud if I was enough. If the product would work. If I was wasting my life chasing a maybe. And how she always said, you're building something real. I hadn't heard that in a long time. I finally texted back. Sure. Tomorrow. The cafe was new, polished, and deliberately unremarkable. Glass walls, matte counters, brushed steel light fixtures that hummed softly overhead. I chose a table near the window, not near the back. I didn't want it to feel like a hiding place. I arrived early. I always do now. She walked in 8 minutes late. Same walk. Same oversized black coat, sleeves a little too long. Same scent that used to linger on my pillows long after she left for work. She looked around for a second before her eyes landed on me. Her mouth lifted in that soft smile she used when she wasn't sure if she was welcome. She slid into the chair across from me without touching the table. Her hand stayed in her lap. Her eyes flicked to the side like she was still rehearsing what she meant to say. I heard about the sale, she said quietly. Congratulations. Thanks. You look different. I sleep now. She laughed, but not like it was funny. More like she was testing if laughter was allowed between us again. She didn't order anything. Just sat there, blinking slowly, like her brain was buffering. I missed you, she said finally. A lot. I let that hang for a minute. I watched the people behind her in line. A guy in gym clothes fidgeting with a protein shake. A woman tapping through apps on her phone. No one looking at us. No one noticing that something quiet and impossible was happening between 2 chairs and a table. She said she'd been thinking about everything. About us. That she hated how she left, how final it felt. She said maybe she gave up too quickly. That she didn't know how to compete with code and insomnia and 5-year plans. I nodded slowly. Not because I agreed. Just because I understood the weight of not being chosen. She looked down. Then back up. Her eyes searched mine like she was looking for the version of me she remembered. I miss that apartment, she said. Even the stupid window that never shut right. I miss falling asleep to the sound of your keyboard. I sipped my coffee. It had gone lukewarm. She asked if I'd thought about her. I said of course I had. I thought about her when the first investor ghosted us. When I sat alone in the office on Christmas Eve watching test servers crash. I thought about her every time I pulled an all-nighter and realized no one was going to show up in the morning with a breakfast sandwich and a tired smile. She bit her lip. Her hands twisted in her lap. "I think I made a mistake," she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. Not the person she was when she walked out, not the echo of a memory. Just her, now, in front of me, waiting. And I realized something. She left when I had nothing but hope. When the light at the end was still a concept, not a number on a screen. And now that the light was real, burning and bright and unforgiving, she wanted to walk back through it. I don't blame her. But I don't belong to that darkness anymore either. I told her the truth. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice, and I made mine. She didn't argue. She just nodded once, like she finally believed me. When she stood, I did too. Not out of politeness, but because it felt like the only thing to do. "Take care of yourself," she said, eyes soft. "Please. You too." She left without looking back. I sat down again and watched her reflection disappear into the light of the window, until there was only the faint outline of my own face staring back at me. I walked home in silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. The kind that lets you hear things you'd been drowning out for months. My shoes on the pavement. The breeze tapping dry leaves against the sidewalk. The quiet shift of something inside me that finally settled. At home, I left the lights off. The living room looked exactly how I left it. Minimal, clean, everything in its place. No coats thrown over chairs, no sketchbooks on the couch, no chipped mugs on the windowsill. Just the sharp outline of success and the soft echo of loneliness. My phone buzzed once. "Lucas, big night tonight? Don't flake. Girls. Views. Victory lap." His version of affection. I turned the screen over without replying. I stood at the window for a while, watching cars slip past. Every so often I'd catch my reflection in the glass. Same face. Same eyes. But less tension now. Something looser at the edges. I didn't feel triumphant, but I didn't feel hollow either. That counted for something. After a while, I pulled on a hoodie and walked a few blocks to the ramen place we used to go to when money was tight and time didn't exist. The sign still buzzed faintly. The windows were fog from the steam. Inside, nothing had changed. I sat at a corner booth. Ordered 2 bowls before I remembered. When they arrived, I pushed one aside and ate quietly. The broth was exactly as I remembered. Rich, familiar, uncomplicated. For a moment I thought about texting her. Just to say I was here, that the soup was still good, that the window still didn't close all the way. But I didn't. Some stories don't need a postscript. When I finished, I sat back, letting the warmth settle in my chest. It didn't feel like loss anymore. It felt like closure. I walked home under streetlights, letting the night stretch out around me. I didn't check my phone. I didn't think about next quarters or projections or flight options. I just existed, softly. Fully. And when I reached the apartment, I looked at the door before opening it. She left when I had nothing. She reached out when I had everything. But now I have something better. Myself. And for the first time in a long time, I don't need to be anything else.